As we're coming to you live from Midrand for the 6th ordinary session of the 3rd Pan-African Parliament. Proceedings will happen right to my right here. The official chambers at the moment are still quite empty. You just see media houses setting up, but in no time it will be full of members who comprise MPs in their respective countries and also form a part of the members of this particular parliament that is a continental body under the auspices of the African Union. Clashing or thrashing out a number of issues affecting the continent. President Uhuru Kenyatta will give the opening address here today. His Honourable Professor Awad Haj Ali from Sudan is the chairperson of the one of the five caucuses, I should say. He's representing East Africa. That comprises Kenya as well, with the president represented. It also includes Tanzania, Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan, and the other Sudan up north, Kenya, and Mauritius and the Seychelles, just to mention a few. He joins us now this morning. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
A number of those countries that I have mentioned in the East facing crises when it comes to stability, safety and security. Some radical Islamist insurgents there breaking out all over there. Instability, quite critical. What is the position of a Pan-African Parliament on that, and how do you plan on addressing it?
Yeah, we have this problem of Shabab in Somalia, which is destabilizing most of our eastern countries, Kenya, Somalia, and sometimes in Uganda, and also Sudan. And so they have many missions, fighting missions we send to Somalia. And also we are following up the role of the EU in order to control and counter that problem.
The number one concern that people have, not only with the likes of the African Union, SADC as well, but also Pan-African Parliament, is that it is great with providing advisory, additions, or to guide, or to perhaps provide some insight, but it doesn't really have teeth, and it doesn't really have executive powers. So when it comes to this issue, and we have a lot of Islamists saying, not in our name, this is not what we're about, they also are speaking out. But what is the body doing to bring about real change on the ground?
Yeah, I think the role of the Pope is try to give some guidance to the African countries in order to implement good governance, democracy, human rights, because most of the problems in Africa is due of lack of these three main things: that's human rights, governance, and democracy. And that always reflect to rebels, reflect to violence, and that's the role of the Pope. But the Pope has no power to go and fight. That's the role of the EU and the United Nations.
You're representing one of five caucuses, but of course the underlying theme is one Africa, one voice. How do you interlink with the rest of the caucuses, and how do you work together to make sure that we have one vision, that Vision 2063, and that we're all as a continent on the right track and good growth trajectory?
Yeah, the structure of the parliament is like that. We have a president, and then we have vice president from each caucus, the five caucuses. And then we have the chairperson of the caucuses. All these, they coordinate with each other in somebody called the proxies of the parliament. And then we have other main activities, because in the committees we are involved, the committees involving all members of the parliament. So now I can see the unity of Africa very clear in this parliament. We are living together, we talk always about the problems of Africa, and we are together in the committees, and also we meet in many other social activities and fact-finding missions, so that we are really very united on that issue.
Let me use you while you're still here to find out whether or not you have any clue what we can expect from President Uhuru Kenyatta in his opening address here today. I'm only asking you this because you are from one of the caucuses that's representing the East.
Yeah, Uhuru Kenyatta is a good example of a president who has been elected by a real election, by a very high competition. So that, he has got support, the real support of his country, of his people. And also he's from a good family, which worked for the independence of Kenya. He's his father. And so that we expect him to support the new trend towards Africanism and unity of Africa, and also try to talk about this problem of Shabab, which is a very dangerous problem in the eastern region. And also he may have some also advice in the problem of South Sudan and Sudan as neighbor countries.
Thank you so much. We'll have to leave it there. Professor, we do appreciate your time. We will be looking at some of those issues, safety and security across the continent. Also, the issue of good governance, and the Prof raised this as well. The issue that we're seeing in Burundi will come to the fore. Also, Mohamed Morsi, and you'll remember the death sentence of that former president of Egypt. We'll also be talking about immigration to Europe and the thousands upon thousands of Africans that die making that great trek. Xenophobia is also something that we will be tackling. We hope to speak about all this and more when we speak to the President of Pan-African Parliament, the Honourable Bethel Amadi, who will be joining us a little bit later. Do stay with us. Thank you so much for your time.